Okay, we're back with the little ship's clock again. This is the platform escapement that I was talking about. And this little thing that is oscillating back and forth is the balance wheel for the platform escapement. And notice you have the platform escapement balance wheel oscillating, but the part that is not moving is this little tooth right here. This is like a little escape wheel of sorts. And on the other side of this, the reason it's not moving, and I'm sorry for poor videography here, but doing it with one hand and a pointer, is that you have some very badly worn out bushings. This gear that goes into this plate is really, really in bad shape. And as a result, it wants to move around. I don't know if we can capture this. You see how it's moving laterally? Shouldn't do that. And corresponding spur gear that's in there, that pinion gear, wants to kind of move laterally also. That one, that little tiny one, that silver one up there where my finger is, that's a bigger concern because that's a tiny, tiny pivot hole. And I don't know if we have the machining here at the shop to do that small of a pivot. That's really tiny. But this is going to have to get all pulled apart and rebushed. And I got to tell you, sometimes most of the time we're successful, but there are sometimes when we are not. And at this point, I don't think you have much to lose. It's not working now. And to take one of these apart is really a big to-do. And the big thing is setting up the strike properly so that it has a proper cadence for the ship's bell. And that's a fussy affair, and so it's expensive. I'll have to figure out what the overall cost would be to remachine this thing, but it's not going to run the way it is. That's for sure. And those are just the two pivots that I saw right off the bat. Once I take the platform escapement off, there are other pivots, and I'm talking about pivots, these things here, these little dots. These are the axles of the gears that stick through. Some underneath here, underneath this platform. Now I got to take the platform off and look underneath and see what else we have hiding. And then you have corresponding pivots on the front, or rather back plate, as it would be. These are the back plate. These are the pivots here. And so I want to inspect all of these things and make sure that they're healthy and they're not out of round. What happens to become oval? But you can see how they are the axles of the gears in between the front plate and the rear plate. And the gears are all sandwiched in between. And it's these little pivot wires that stick through the holes, and those are called bushings. And that's what gets worn out in a clock.